Hello, my farmer friends and aspiring farmers out there. So, in farming, what comes into mind when you hear of a weed? You think of something that needs to be removed in your farm as soon as possible. What if I told you today that there is a beneficial kind of a weed that has got high protein content that you can feed to your animals, that can help reduce the cost of production? My name is Eunice Karanja, the farmer's friend, and here I showcase practical solutions that you can apply in your farm to increase production and profitability in your farm. Let us dive in. In today's episode, we are going to look at two types of weeds, Azolla and Duckweed, and how they can be beneficial in your farm in reducing the cost of production and boosting production. To help us understand this week, we are going to talk to George here. So, George, tell us about yourself and the farming of the duckweed and the Azolla.
You're much welcome.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about Azolla and Duckweed farming. My name is George Muturi from Comfort Worms and Insects. And back here we have some weeds. Basically this is called duckweed. Duckweed is a kind of a weed, and also Azolla, that you will find freely growing on freshwater lakes. Like Lake Naivasha, it's there, like Victoria.
Yes.
And it's a source of protein for fish there.
Okay.
So now just what we are doing, we are trying to give the same conditions back there in the lake. That is the water and nutrients. Then now from there, after growing it, we use it now to feed the other livestock animals at home. Not just the fish. We are feeding it to the fish so that we have here, but also now we are feeding it to other livestock animals like chickens. We have pigs. Time to time we feed our rabbits. So that is how we are using it. And growing Azolla and duckweed, it's pretty easy because they grow mostly on the same conditions, but they have some slight differences which we are going to differentiate. But the conditions are: we need water. We need a pond, just very shallow ponds. We don't do deep boards.
1 foot, you say?
Yeah, 1 foot, 30 centimeters.
Yes.
Then the length and width, it varies. It varies with the materials you are using. So now, like here, I'm using dam liners. Now, like this one here, we have 1 meter by around 3.5 meters. So that is one, a small one. We have this one here. This is a 7 by 3 meters long. That is 3 in terms of the width and 7 meters long. The depth is the same, 30 centimeters. So ideally, why we are looking at the depth, not really about the length and width, it's feeding in terms of nutrients.
Okay.
Because now if we do a very deep pond, let's say like 3 feet or 1 meter, we have to feed it 3 times more as compared to this 30 centimeter. Yeah.
Shallow.
So in a shallow pond, we calculate the meters that we have put in place.
Yes.
Then now from there, we multiply that by 5 kgs or half a bucket of manure.
Okay.
That is in terms of the nutrients that we are going to put there.
Okay.
So each meter we put in half a bucket of manure or 5 kgs.
Okay.
Then now from there, we plant 100 grams of either the Azolla or duckweed within that 1 meter.
Okay.
And within a period of 3 weeks, our Azolla gets to be ready, then our duckweed will get to be ready within a period of 4 weeks. So that is the first difference.
The first difference. So the first difference is the time it takes.
Yeah, the time it takes
for you to harvest duckweed.
Yeah.
And the Azolla.
And the Azolla.
Let's go to the second difference.
So now the second difference, looking at this pond that we have here, and we're going to see others. So we have covered this one with a shade net.
Yeah.
So Azolla grows well under shade. Ideally 50% shade, not 100%, because some farmers ask why not just put maybe a sack on top to give like 100% shade.
Yes.
So 100% shade won't work well because it will not grow. Yes. But a 50% shade allows now the Azolla to grow very well. In where we are growing the duckweed, we don't do a shade. So the duckweed will grow comfortably without any shade, and it won't have any challenges. But now if we did that to Azolla, you find there are two things that happen. One, it will either die after some time, or it will grow not being green. It turns to be brown very fast when it gets to be hot. So now that is the second.
So when it turns brown?
So when it turns brown, ideally the chicken or the pigs will eat it, but according to how we see it, the nutrients are not to the right levels.
Okay.
So you find the protein is there, but not very
affected.
Yeah, it has been affected.
Okay.
And if it keeps on growing like that, you find after some time it dies.
Okay.
So that gets to be now the first challenge, or the second difference, which now gets to tell us or to help a farmer make a decision. If I don't have a shade, which side do I go? Yeah.
Which one do I grow?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that is the second difference. So the first one we said it's all about the timelines. Now this one is about the condition,
the
environment where you are growing it.
Yes.
Then now the third, it's about the protein, the protein content.
Very nice.
Because ideally we are growing both of them for the protein content.
Yes.
And we say it's very convenient for a farmer to grow this because it's very fast. It does not require a lot. And you find that you are able to feed your livestock an alternative source of protein other than just what you are buying.
Yes.
So for the duckweed, you find that it has a higher protein content.
Compared to the Azolla.
Yes. So the Azolla ideally it's 25%, the duckweed around 30%. So that is now their difference.
Okay.
Then the fourth difference which we come in with, it's about the amount we harvest.
Okay.
Because Azolla weighs more than the duckweed.
Yes.
Also from the reef appearance and all that, Azolla weighs more. So from a space where we are doing a kg of Azolla, you find that we are doing like 3/4 of a kg of duckweed. It's not much because now if we weigh between now the protein, the weight that you are getting, so they like then come together. It compensates the difference. Yes. So you find that that is now the fourth difference. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we have said the protein. We can start. The first difference is that the Azolla.
So now the Azolla, the condition that you are growing it with the duckweed, they get to be different. Azolla needs a shade. That is the first thing. You find that the other thing, it's about the amount that you are harvesting. They have a difference.
Azolla produces more.
Yeah, Azolla produces more
slightly more than duckweed.
Yeah, slightly more than duckweed.
Yes.
So then now we look at we have looked now at the condition. So we have looked now the amount. Then now we are looking at is it affected? Because the environmental conditions you need. So in very hot areas, a farmer doing Azolla will have some challenges as compared now to the duckweed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, but generally the benefits are more or less
the same.
Apart from the protein content.
Yeah, the protein
where
content.
In duckweed we see the protein content is slightly higher.
Yeah.
Than that one of
the Azolla.
But in management, it is easier to manage duckweed
Yeah, it's easier to
than
manage
it is
duck.
manage the Azolla.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
our farmers there, you choose which one works for you. But the establishment of the units is the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Like George initially explained,
Mm.
you have your dam liner, you bring in
the cow dung or the compost because we are looking at also at a point where if you put in something that is too acidic, because now for the Azolla, if you put in manure that is very fresh,
yes,
so it means it has a higher ammonia level, so it kills your Azolla
or the duckweed.
or the duckweed. So the manure also, as we measure the amount and all that, we also need to look at how long. Is it composted or is it raw manure? So the composted manure gets to be better
so
always.
We are saying don't put cow dung,
yeah,
put well decomposed
manure. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And then you add in your water?
Yeah, you can add in your water. There are two ways. One, you can put using a sack, like the way we have done it here.
Yeah.
So now the sack, we put in the manure there, the nutrients will easily seep through.
Yes.
Then there is another one which we put in the manure direct into the pond. But now this one we normally say if you are using bioslurry. So now that is now whatever comes out of the biogas, now we can put it directly because it's like just a liquid form of it. So it gets to be better when we are putting it directly.
And the ammonia content is
it's low in the slurry.
Okay.
So the reason as to why we are doing all that to put that in the sack is that if we put it direct, after some times it gets to be very loose, then it starts floating. Okay. So when you come to harvest either your Azolla or duckweed, you find you are harvesting your duckweed with a lot of manure on it. Okay. So you can't be able to feed that to your animals. So this one gets to be better using a sack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often do you change the water?
So the water, we change it after around 6 months.
Okay.
But now, like when it's raining, so we are just doing the thing of when it gets to be full, we siphon a little bit, we add some nutrients to make sure that it keeps on growing. But now when it's not raining, we look at a period of 6 months, maximum rate. Then now we can change the water, the manure, then we return the same Azolla or duckweed. Then it continues to grow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So the farmer would want to know, how soon do I harvest? How many times will I harvest? And what quantity will I harvest, depending with the pond pond.
So ideally we say a standard pond is around 10 meters. Yes. 1 by 10, 2 by 5 meters. And from this pond, we plant 1 kg of either the Azolla or duckweed. Then now for the Azolla, I'll start harvesting within 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
You have your first harvest?
You have your first harvest.
Yes.
Then from there, you can be harvesting on a weekly basis, at least once in a week.
How many kgs will you harvest?
So from the first harvest, after the 3 weeks, if your pond has performed very well, the conditions were good, the manure was enough, you should do around 20 kgs for the first harvest. Now from there, you will be getting around 1.5 kgs per day.
Or per day?
Yeah, per day.
Or you can harvest
per day? You can harvest per day. Or if you won't be harvesting on a daily basis, you can harvest it once in a week. You do around 10 kgs. Then now you leave it for another 1 week to grow again, to be full. Then now you harvest again the following week. So ideally, once per week you should be harvesting. Then the farmer will know if the Azolla or duckweed is ready for harvest once it covers. If it has not yet covered your pond,
the water, the whole surface
the whole surface, such that you don't see the water.
Okay.
If you are seeing your water in the pond, it's not yet ready for harvest. So, but once it covers, it's ready. Then now you can harvest.
How do you harvest?
So harvesting, we are using. Ideally, you need something that will be able to scoop out your Azolla or duckweed from the pond. And here we have just used normally used to cook chipo.
we are innovative.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Then
using locally available materials.
sure.
Yeah.
Then what we have just done, it's adding a net, an insect net, the ones for greenhouse,
Yes.
just inside to make sure that once we go round once, you have scooped like 1 or 1.5 kgs.
Okay.
Then now you'd be able either to feed your livestock or even to plant, because when you're planting the same
the same thing that
you are planting in
Okay.
another pond. So that is how we harvest it. So you go around, you scoop. You don't need to go into your pond if it's big or if it's deep. You just go around. If you go around your pond, then whichever is in the middle there, it will spread out on the other areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So we've seen how we harvest. So how do we feed it? How do we use it in our farm? How do we use Azolla or Duckweed in our farm?
So ideally, there are two ways. One for the chicken, for the pigs, for the fish, we feed it fresh.
Okay.
Just how we harvest it. All we need to do at times it's clean it. You scoop, then you rinse with some clean
water.
Yeah, then you feed to your livestock. For the cows, for the sheep, for the goats, mostly animals affected by either the issue of bloating, for the rabbits, you need to clean, then either dry or wilt.
For a few days.
Yeah, for a few days. So once you do that, now you can mix with your feeds, then they will feed on it.
Okay.
So for these animals, if you feed it while it's very fresh, the issue of the moisture and the protein, most likely you might be affected by bloating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to at least make sure the water content
has been reduced
from certain level.
Yeah.
You can talk to us about how we use it to improve soil fertility.
Yeah, sure. So other than just using Azolla or Duckweed for protein purposes, we can use it to increase the nitrogen levels in our soils.
Yes.
Ideally, there are a number of ways. One, we can compost. Like when you're doing your normal composting or you're using vermicomposting method, we can incorporate it there. It breaks down, it will release the nutrients. So that is one. The other method, we can ferment it. There are some farmers who make a plant tea. They select a number of plants, Tithonia, Russian comfrey, and the like. They ferment. So the same way we harvest the Azolla, we put in a bucket, then we add some water. So for the Azolla or Duckweed, we give it a period of like 1 month for it to break down completely. Then now we can save that liquid, which now we can use as a foliar. We can either drench in the soil, we can spray in the vegetables. So ideally also to help us act as a booster or to bring nitrogen in place. So those are the two major ways that we can use this Azolla in the farm. Yeah.
So because we in the Farmers Friendly channel, we talk about helping farmers reduce the cost of production.
Yeah.
How will having the Azolla help the farmer reduce the cost of production?
So we look at reducing the cost of production here in a way. We say that. So other than the cost of setting up, which ideally is not much.
Yes.
Because once you buy the dam liner, if you manage it well, you can comfortably have it for 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
Now,
with the gauge.
Depending with the gauge.
Yeah.
And here we use like the wrist in terms of the gauges for the dam liners.
Okay.
Because we start from 0.5 millimeter going up to around 1.5. So here we are using 0.5, of which some of the ponds that we have here, currently I've used them now for 4 years comfortably.
Okay.
And once we have that in place, the dam liner, currently it's going for around 230 per square meter. So depending on the square meters you are putting in place, we can be able to calculate that.
Okay.
Then buying the initial stock of the Azolla or Duckweed, which for a kg it's going for 1,000 shillings. Now from there, the rest will be management.
Okay.
You putting in the manure, the water, managing all that. Then now from there, you find that once you start harvesting, you will be able to lower your cost from 20% to 40% of your feeding, depending on the amounts that you are harvesting and you are using to feed your livestock.
So you can reduce the cost if you are harvesting enough amount. You can reduce your cost of feeding your cow. About 40%.
With about 40%.
That is significant.
Yeah. So now with that, a farmer can feel that will I increase my Azolla? Can I increase my livestock?
Yes.
Depending also with the space, because one thing we look at, so far we don't have a shortcut. So for the worms, we can do the multi-story structure, save on the space up here. Currently for the Azolla and Duckweed, we need this space. We need, so that I think that we can say it's so far the challenge that we have. So you need more space. But for a farmer who is doing something like fish farming, and maybe they are doing catfish farming, so we can incorporate this in those ponds. And your fish will be very comfortable. So we just control to make sure that we don't grow 100% on the pond. It does not cover 100% for aeration. There is a way we do that. Then it will be comfortably growing, and you will be harvesting for your other livestock animals.
So the catfish is growing, feeding on the Azolla, and your
Azolla is also growing
for your other animals.
And the reason is that catfish do not, though they feed straightly, they don't feed a lot on this kind of protein, the plant-based. So they want the rights of worms, BSF, but not so much on the duckweed or Azolla. So that's why they give it room for it to grow. But now we can't do that with the trapia. Trapia will feed on it very fast. So
finally, we always like seeing the money. So where is the money in duckweed or Azolla farming?
So in duckweed or Azolla, there are so many things that are happening. And one, currently, personally, I do sell the Azolla and Duckweed to farmers is 1,000 shillings. So, for example, in a pond of the 10 meters that I was mentioning about, comfortably harvesting 10 kgs on a weekly basis, if you have that order,
10 kg.
You have
10,000.
You have 10,000 in 1 week.
With the zero effort.
So that is one thing. There is the other aspect of going large in terms of production, because currently as a nation, our biggest challenge is protein sources, especially for livestock. So if you are going big in terms of production, you can do value addition. I've seen in other countries they are producing, they are pelletizing, making it into pellets. Then using that as an ingredient in feed manufacture.
Feed formulation.
So there is a lot that we can be able to do in this space. We can now also go into the other side of producing the organic foliar fertilizer from the same. So we ferment this, we do some variations on it. We have a foliar.
There you go. There are very many different.
Sure.
Like George has well explained. And so it's ours to choose. Do you want to do the duckweed? Do you want to do the Azolla? Or you can do them both. Can you do them both actually?
Yeah, you can incorporate them
in
the same pond.
Yes.
Just what happens is that after some time you might find that Azolla have overtaken.
Oh, dominated.
Yeah, it dominates the pond. But now on the other side, if something bad happens and your Azolla dies off, the duckweed continues to grow.
So there you have it. Thank you very much.
Much welcome. Much welcome. Yeah.
Green is and has always been a very beautiful color. In today's episode, we have seen how you can use the green Azolla or the duckweed to increase your production or to cut your farm costs. The choice is yours. You can have the duckweed, you can have Azolla, or you can have them both, and they will boost the production in your farm. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode, stay blessed.